One of the biggest reasons people don't make changes is because they feel they're not ready. They're not ready to retire. They're not ready for a new hobby. They're not ready for a new job. Yet, what I've noticed is sometimes we're more ready than we think we are. And we're going to talk about some of the ways to know if you're more ready than you really think you are. One way to know that you're potentially ready or more ready than you think you are is you keep thinking about it. You keep thinking, how cool would it be to, and whatever that to is, learn a new skill, take up a new hobby, tennis, the piano, whatever. You keep thinking how cool it would be to not be at this job. I wish I was at that job, or even a different position within your same company. But you feel you maybe don't know enough. You're not ready for the change. You're not prepared. What if it doesn't work out? There's all these doubts that go in our head. But generally, if you're thinking about it a lot and it's really something that's on your mind, you're probably further along the path than you're giving yourself credit for. Another way to know is that your current circumstance or situation no longer works. And that was what I felt a lot with therapy. It was great. I could do it. I feel I'm pretty good at it, have some reasonable amount of skill. But it wasn't really fitting the bill anymore. There were times I just felt tired. I felt worn out by it. And like I think I mentioned in another video, when I would do a photo shoot, I was energized. When I would finish my work day of therapy, I was drained. And so that's another sign that it's time for a change. And when you couple a few of these together, like the first one of thinking about the change a lot, for example, in my case, I love doing photography. If I could do that more, that would be great, okay? On top of, this other work really drains me. It's rewarding, but it drains me. Now we've got two indicators pushing like, okay, we've got the motivation to do it because we're drained. We have a vision of where we want to go. That's what we're thinking about. It's starting to pile on that we perhaps can make that change. Another is fear. For a lot of us, making that jump creates anxiety. It creates fear. I know it personally. I think a lot of you probably have felt that way. And usually we take fear as a sign that it's not the right time. It's not the right time to take the risk. But I think we can reframe that the fear potentially is the signal that it's time. For example, I remember being at the fair once. And there was one of those bungee jumping situations where you could go up into this tower and jump. And somebody I knew was like ready to do it. Oh my God, that looks like so much fun. Yeah, it's scary, but I can handle it, right? That whole initial idea that, yeah, this looks like an interesting path. Then they embark on the path. They go up the tower, they're standing on the platform, they're getting strapped in, and they realize, oh shoot, no, I can't do this, I'm afraid. Well, now they're afraid because they're just on the cusp of making that, well, in this case, making that leap, right? The leap of faith that nothing's going to happen to them, that they can handle the stress of the bungee jump, that it's actually going to be exhilarating. That same thing happens in life. If we're so afraid of it, we're probably just that close to needing to make that transition. And so that can be taken as a sign to not do it. But it could also be taken as a sign that we're so close that it's time to make that jump. That fear is so escalated because we're right there upon it. So it's just a different way of looking at that fear. And I think one that's very telling in terms of whether or not we should make that jump. Another one for some of us is already knowing what the next step would be. For example, I already knew that if I wanted to pursue photography, I was going to have to learn certain skills in photography that I didn't already know. I knew a lot, but nobody knows everything. And there were things about shooting portraits and people that were so different than other things that I had photographed before that I needed to learn that. I knew what that next step was. Knowing that, having that insight kind of tells you it's time to make that jump. Or we're getting very close to that time because I already know what I need to do to be able to do it. If you know these steps, that's usually a good sign. Because that means, one, you've been thinking about it, you've been scared of it, you're not happy with the situation you're in, you can envision the change, there's a very good chance that it's time for us to make that change, at least to seriously consider if this is the time or not. Realizing there's never a right time. Just like having kids, just like getting married, just like many other things in life, sometimes we just have to do them because the perfect time just doesn't exist. And lastly, you can see a different future, right? With me again, I could see myself acting as a photographer. I had done some sessions. I had realized what it was like because of these first other steps that were intervening and propelling me to at least stick my foot in the water. I felt the water temperature and felt it was good. So now I knew I could dive in. And that's one of the key things, we can envision ourselves, we can picture ourselves in that new role. Whatever it is, playing a certain sport, participating in a hobby, taking on, new work, or replacing a career with a new career. If we can envision it, if we're seeing it, if we can almost taste it, so to speak, that's really a great way to put it, there's a good sign that, again, we're at that cusp, we're at the border. It's really getting to be time to make that change. And so that brings us to a final conclusion that really is what we just said. There's a number of reasons that kind of can be indicating to us that this is potentially a time to make a change. We can see it. We know what to do next. We're afraid to do it. That's a big one. We've already maybe taken a step in that direction. And sometimes we just need to make that leap and hope for the best. That's what I'm doing. It's, like I said, not an easy path. There are challenges, there are obstacles, but also we have to weather those and get through them. But what doesn't have an obstacle? Probably anything we've done at any point in our life that had any value had obstacles, had burdens, had stresses, and yet we did it anyways. Nobody learned how to type on a keyboard without being stressed about it. Nobody knew where all the keys was, and we all had to look on that keyboard trying to peck around and find the keys until we could flawlessly type or effortlessly type without even looking down, and the words just appeared on the paper or on the screen. Well, sometimes that's how all of life works, and we need to take those lessons, overcome the difficulties to be in a new spot, in a new situation, enjoying something that we really feel is in, our best interest, or just the next phase of our continuous growth and progress. So let me know if you've been in any of these situations. Let me know in the comments if you're contemplating a change, and we can exchange some messages and hopefully maybe get you to a point where you're either seriously considering it or realizing that maybe just because it's a fantasy in your head that it's not maybe the right choice at this time. But let's talk about it. Let's see what we can come up. And I'll be talking about this again in future videos as well. So for today, have a great day, and we'll keep chipping away at this whole new life type situation.